All right, you guys, welcome back, Galaxy Brains. We are the Film Lovers Guide to the Galaxy, and today we are going to talk about a movie that came out just this year with Nicolas Cage, Pig, a movie that I know Jared has watched, and then we decided to do it because one is now available for the stream, and I've heard many good things about it, so I really wanted to see what the hoopla is all about. But you guys know, before we do all this,
So I'm not gonna. The point of this rant is this. Let's say that costs you like 20 grand a year, okay? And the insurance covers 80. You're like, it's a pretty good deal. Well, no, you have cancer.
What's the worst thing you'll do for $1 million?
Fuck you! Stop fucking dropping oil into the Gulf, you dipshits. Fucking morons.
look, Joe, as we're doing this weekly, you will always have disclaimers saying you don't want to sound like an old man telling people to get off his lawn.
Right.
But we are telling them to get off your lawn. So what's grinding your gears this week?
It's like a small thing. I know that a lot of people complain about certain movie tropes that that annoy people and things like that. One thing that's sort of, it's not a specific thing, but I've noticed it once in the movie you're going to talk about. It also happens in a lot of times where it's like just saying "what," for example, we gotta run. What? Or like, what time is it? What? Like it. That's the exact like dialogue. Like I don't understand why. Like, for example, in the movie here we're talking about, Nicolas Cage says, "What time is it?" And the guy's like, "What?" He goes, "What time is it?" And he looks at what. I don't really understand that part of the dialogue. What's the
oh my
look
gosh,
for?
the TV?
Huh?
Damn it! I thought you were gonna say it. I thought you were gonna say what?
Got
I'm
it.
trying to get you to say what.
Okay, that's true. Okay, but I'm saying if the question is very specific like that, I don't understand why that dialogue's placed in, because I'm sure like everything's written out, everything's scrutinized over, and it goes through multiple rounds of editing and all that stuff. That's what I'm thinking for these movies and things like that. So I just don't understand it. I don't know if they're trying to like eat up a little bit of more time or some sort of weird character development. I don't know. I see that a lot. We're talking. A lot of people complain about the Wilhelm scream and things like that, and I can get that part. But this is something I've been noticing.
People that complain about the Wilhelm scream are no fun.
I just know that it exists. Okay, I don't have a problem with it. It is what it is, and I know that people would complain about it. But specifically with this whole what thing, I don't know. Like, I guess it could have some sort of use in some comedy stuff, maybe. But I don't know. I've noticed them more. It's like things like that. So
this
I don't know.
What thing? I love it.
No, I just don't like it. It's just it's very. I don't know. It just sort of breaks it for me. I'm just like, why are you asking what? Why is it never
What?
why? I guess. That's just my small thing for this week.
Really,
You want people to go and be like, how?
So what another thing is, right? Let's say in horror films, you see these two people just running. It's like, we gotta go. And the guy's like, what do you mean? What? What do you mean? What? And then he sees the zombies. Oh shit! And he starts running. And I'm thinking to myself, if you're living in a post-apocalyptic world and you see two people just trying to booking it, you're probably thinking logically, all right, some shit's going down, and start running. Like that's just sort of what happens in real life, I think. But
You don't want to be the inquisitive person being like, wait, what's going on?
It's just, I don't know. It's just slightly annoying, is all I can say.
All right, Jared, what have you been watching this past week?
What I've been watching is a kind of a mix of stuff that I'm showing my history class.
Cool.
Yeah. Today we started Paths of Glory. It's a Stanley Kubrick film about World War One. Kirk Douglas is in it. It's very good. Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend watching it. Other than that, I've been kind of supplementing with like different episodes of The Sopranos. Gosh, what else have I been watching? Just not much. I've been really busy with school and work, but I did watch Dune in IMAX on Sunday.
Ooh, how's that?
It was there were in the first scene where he uses the voice when
we go yeah.
The water.
Right.
Man, I felt like I got punched in the chest. Like just the sound on that thing. The IMAX sound mixing is kind of wild. You can't hear her say the litany of fear. It was confirmed by my two ears when he has his hand in the box when he's doing the Gom Jabbar thing. It's just real hard to hear. What else? Gosh, trying to think. It's just like I could have read a book by the light that what gave off during kind of the attack scenes when they were like blowing up. It was beautiful. That movie is insane. When the sandworm came up, like I was just like sitting here, just wide eyed, going like, "Whoa!" Like fucking gnarly. It was just so crazy. Other than that, I haven't. God, I'm just trying to think. Pro wrestling, which is my weekly staple. We're building to full gear for AEW coming up. So I'm pretty stoked on that. Hopefully Hangman Page gets his win, and yeah. For Halloween though, guys, tell me, are you guys on the Christmas music train already, or are you after Thanksgiving?
Oh, see,
I'm an after Thanksgiving guy.
Yeah, as it
after
should be.
Thanksgiving,
Yeah,
but
it is
my
known.
store doesn't believe in that.
I
It's
would say,
November 1st.
my
yeah, I would say that almost all major retailers, after it's like, boom, Christmas,
Right?
let's
Oh
start.
my
2 months of
God.
Christmas. Mariah Carey is so happy right now.
Yeah, like I just like it's so crazy when you think about it.
You know, I always thought that with the whole Thanksgiving and Black Friday thing, there was at least a retail reason to promote all that stuff. I thought.
It's actually been within the last, I would say, like 5 to 10 years that they've started doing this bullshit, and I just can't abide. Like it's insane.
I would have to assume numbers don't lie. They probably did some research and just like we make more money if we do Christmas for 2 months or whatever. You know,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, guaranteed.
but
But also, like now you see the opposite. You see all these stores kind of rebuke the Black Friday, and I was pretty happy to see that. We'll see about this year,
you know,
considering
it
well,
makes
like
sense though. It makes
it would
sense.
make sense if they didn't open on fucking Thanksgiving or
Yeah.
Black Friday, considering the supply chain shortages. It'd be like, okay, well, we're done.
Yeah. I
Like
mean, there have to be,
stretch that
yeah.
shit out. Yeah, I don't know. So my job, the office supply manager emailed us earlier in the week and goes, "Hey, we're out of toner," and
Just
everyone's like,
straight
"Yeah,
up.
okay."
We're not printing anything anymore.
They're like, "Okay, well, when are we gonna get them?" Oh, we don't know. It's in Long Beach Harbor, and we're like, "What?" Yeah. We just don't have toner. And people are like, but like, how do I make copies for my schoolwork? Oh yeah, you don't. And we're just like, why can't you buy some? Oh yeah, no, we just can't. Oh, okay. Then the principal sends out an email. Somebody has been in the first, so since August, middle of August. So that's September, October, November. So yeah, like three months. Somebody has made 30,000 copies.
Of what?
You tell me.
That's just a lot of reams of
Yeah.
paper.
That
And
okay? So I did the math. It would be, if you stack the reams of paper, it would be a 5 foot stack of ream of paper. 30,000.
this is a teacher that's making the 30,000 in 3 months.
Yeah, buddy.
Someone's obviously printing for their buddy or something.
Somebody's obviously like, you know what? Fuck it. We're back from the pandemic. We're going full analog, baby.
on fucking copies of all things. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
All
right?
right. I mean, because I'm guessing it's free for you guys, right? It's like it's included in the cost of doing business. That's stupid. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, no, it's kind of it was insane. But we're all like 30,000. Who is doing
I think you have the right to know and, to publicly shame them. I think
publicly? Shame.
exactly.
Shame.
I've been watching, and I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I finished Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't know, weeks are sort of blending a little bit. For the
Is
people
that show
that,
worth getting into?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's obviously like a buddy cop comedy. Went for 8 seasons. There's a little bit of repetitive twist, but it is the case for any show that's going on for 8 seasons. I think that the way they ended it was fantastic. I liked the story. I'm a big fan of Andy Samberg. I'm very happy that he got onto something that was incredibly successful. Terry Crews, Stephanie Beatrice, all those guys made a really good cast. They came together, did really well, which I'm really happy about. And I know that they got sort of hit with the whole pandemic thing on just at the tail end of season 7, and they sort of ended on season 8. And I think it's going to be one of a few, I guess, big comedies that sort of ended things on their own terms, which is good. Instead of having to sort of drag it out, I'm looking to use Scrubs. So I finished that. I liked it. I was very happy.
Can I give you the hottest of takes?
Sure, go for it.
I think Scrubs sucks.
I think you said this before, though, so it's not like surprising.
I think it's like an actually like bad TV show.
I think Scrubs I like Scrubs for the first 8 seasons. I don't know. It got kind of bad at the end. That's old. Neither here nor there. What I've been watching, continuing is I started watching a little bit more Letterkenny. I like the fast paced comedy. It's kind of its own thing. There's nothing like it. Big fan.
My partner loves Letterkenny.
It's funny to watch. It's a different kind of comedy, you know. Who would have thought like these guys from middle of nowhere Canada or whatever it is, just doing what they're doing. It's just fun to watch. And finally, I've been watching a little bit of Adventure Time. I've known about Adventure Time for a long time. I watched clips of Adventure Time. Yeah. I think it's a very cool thing. I just never sat down and watched it.
It's very good.
It is off the walls, like crazy shit they can do and stuff like that. And I'm not necessarily sure if it's like marketed towards a younger crowd.
Oh, it's definitely not. No.
Okay, great. Because I love it.
So do you know like what like the story is in that show? How deep are you in?
Dude, I know like bits and pieces here and there, and not much. Other than just things just going absolutely crazy. So I don't know much about it at all. But I'm looking forward to it, and I'm just happy it's there. So just pacing myself, and that's really what it is for this week.
I actually had a lot of movies I saw this past week. Finally saw Halloween Kills.
What'd you think?
I heard that was like kind of campy good.
Yeah, it's kind of like Dune Part 1, except that I need to see the final movie for this to give like a full letter grade that I can think of.
So you're giving it an incomplete.
Yeah, it is a very middle movie of a trilogy. But the kills, I mean, the movie speaks for itself. Halloween does kill. There was a lot there. So I thought that was, and it was very inventive. And it's still, like I said, it's not doing it to be sadistic, but it's more, within that genre. I thought it was pretty decent. I don't think it's as good as the reboot or the Halloween 2018, but it's still pretty good there. I saw Venom Carnage, Let There Be Carnage. It is
mixed things about this.
It is a comic book movie that is only an hour and a half long. It got in, it got out, it did what it needed to do. Tom Hardy is by far the best thing, or the only reason why you should watch this movie. Him playing, himself and then doing the voice of Carnage, I thought was really, it's pretty cool to watch.
Didn't he like write or like do a lot of like come up with a lot of the story?
Tom Hardy alone is worth the price of admission. What else did I watch? Saw those two. I already told you guys I saw Last Night in Soho. I thought it was a good movie, but a middle of the road Edgar Wright movie. It's not as good as the other movies that he's done, but it's still a solid movie nonetheless. And then, like Jared, I watched Dune, but I didn't watch the new one again. I watched 1985 Dune on HBO Max, and let me tell you something.
I'm sorry.
It's funny because I watched that movie, and then afterwards I watched, there's a YouTube channel called Cinema Wins, which is kind of the opposite of Cinema Sins. So this guy talks about things that he likes from the movies rather than setting them. He gives points for liking them. So I was watching him do that movie, and let me tell you something. I can understand why people might like that movie. It's just not for me. Everything feels very campy, and I don't think Lynch was trying to do that. Now, granted, I think if Lynch was given actual autonomy of the whole thing, he probably would have made something better, right? But I can see now why you cannot cram a whole book into 2.5 hours. I mean,
Frank Herbert loved that movie. He absolutely loved it, and he adopted the so in the beginning, the Guild Navigator, the thing that was in like the gas,
yeah.
spice gas. So Frank, those are never explained in the early books or in the book, but Frank took inspiration of the look of that character and implemented it into the books because he loved it so much. Like that movie, oh my God, like how crazy the shields look and how they're all boxy, and Patrick Stewart's great in that movie. I fucking love him as Gurney Halleck, but like I wish they kind of implemented more of the crazy stuff in the new one. Like there's a lot of deleted scenes in the Denis version. Like I can't wait for the director's cut, but like the juice that the Mentats drink, the Sappho juice, or like Brad Dourif, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love Brad Dourif. Like that's why their mouth is like stained purple because they drink the juice.
Yeah.
And how I was waiting in the new one for a shot of the inside of the sand or the spice harvester. I wanted fucking David Lynch's character to come back because that was David Lynch inside the
sand. Yeah, those Lynch,
yep.
He's always got to make that cameo,
I fucking love it's the best.
Yes.
But God, that movie is bad. I think I think it's a bad movie. But I think the people who love it, oh, it's so weird. Yeah, like it's weird, but that doesn't make it good. Like that's kind of like I don't know. I think it's taken on a life of its own, but like the still suits look crazy. Johnny, how did you feel about the internal monologue?
So there's 3 bullet points I had. One, that internal monologue. My God, like why? Like I did not need to know what everybody was thinking. There's only 2 characters, Paul and Jessica. Everyone else, I don't care.
But like, do you see now how I thought it was really smart to have them switch the Fremen switch to the Chicopsa, like their own dialect or their own language for like what they said. Like it's such an effortless way of doing it. Also, that cast is super white.
Yes.
For a bunch of desert dwelling people, they're all white, and it's a weird look.
I know you lament Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho. I wasn't all that. I mean, it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
But then watching Duncan Idaho in this movie, I'm like, the hell? He was there for like 2 seconds.
He's not in the book a lot.
And it was really quick how he died. It's just like, oh, this little small needle just penetrated.
I mean, I'll take that back. He is in the book, but in the book, he's in really important scenes, and he's not played as like that much of comedy, that much of a comedy role. I think that's what I had a problem with. Was like it was such like a comedic portrayal. Like in the book, like he gets super drunk, and he like symbolizes all the men. Because they're not on their home, they don't have a home, and like Jessica finds them. There's a lot of interplay with Jessica. It's just so good, and I think that's kind of what I was bummed out about. They used Momoa as just like, oh yeah, women come see our movie, and I was like, no, you come for the twink boy, Timothée Chalamet's beautiful face. Stay for the Shai Hulud.
And then last, you were talking about their shields and the blocks. All I could think about was, if TARS can fight in Interstellar, this is what it would look like. This is all I was thinking because the blocks were moving. I'm just like, maybe Nolan did watch this movie and be like, you know what? I see something great here. We can make a robot out of this for the future in Interstellar, and that's how it became to be. So it is a movie. It is definitely a David Lynch movie. I'll tell you that for sure. But it's just. It's not my cup of tea.
It definitely is.
Like, I will say, like, the best parts of that movie are the body horror type of stuff that Lynch gets to go nuts on, right? So the Gom Jabbar scene, especially with the hand, and it's like where like some of those visuals are really cool. But then I swear, some of those green screens, like legit seeing a green screen, I'm like, Did
when
we
you
just run
do
out of money?
so like
Right?
you obviously get like spoiled if you see the first two. Like so
Correct.
you know
Yes.
what's gonna happen.
Yes.
Do you have any questions for me about how they're gonna do the second part of the Denis version? Like do you have any questions of like what happened with the plot or whatever?
No. I think with this movie, I can tell where the base points are. So I kind of understand where the base points, in
Yeah.
terms of the plot points, kind of go. What I'm excited to see is the little small nuances that Denny's going to bring out in part two
Do you
to kind of bring it
understand
out.
now how I can say it just gets gonna get fucking buck wild in the second version? People
Yeah.
don't know what they're gonna.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that with this movie, it's very truncated, right? So now give 2.5 hours to Denny to actually just explore some of these things
Mhm.
will probably be even crazier. So I am very
his
excited.
his fucking death company people, his Fedaykin, and
Hmm.
then the fucking sand like or the worm riding. Dude, it's gonna be wild.
Before we get on to the movie we're talking about this week, we all here love sports. Let me tell you something. This has to be the weirdest week of sports news from the three major sports. One, the Braves didn't blow it. Thank God. Like, I
Fuck yeah.
needed them to win the World Series because, you know, if you are listening from Houston, I apologize, but
Fuck
fuck
the
the
Astros.
Astros.
Fuck
There we
the
go.
Astros.
Fuck the
Yeah.
Astros.
You guys are going to have to bear that cheating sash banner with you for a while until that stench goes away. And it's going to be a while before it does. You're also talking to people that used to or live in the LA or Orange County area. So we're a little bitter about that World Series. Fucking banging shit. So glad that the Braves didn't lose. And I'm glad, at least if Jared looks at it this way, for being a Dodger fan, at least we lost to the team that won the World Series, right?
For the last six, other than for the last 6 years, the Dodgers have either won or lost to the winners of the World Series.
And then we see the NBA. Did you guys read the news article I sent you guys about Robert Sarver, the owner of the Phoenix Suns?
Yeah, this
Yeah,
giant shit show.
Oh God! So my question for you is: do you envision something actually happening, a la Donald Sterling, or do you think he's just going to get a slap on the wrist?
at the fucking slap on the wrist, baby.
I would, I would say. Well, it depends. What is exactly a slap on the wrist? Is it just like a fine for like 100 grand?
Fine, lose picks. That's pretty much what that's going to be.
I would say it'd be a firm slap on the wrist, but that's about as far as I'll go.
Let me ask you this: so with Donald Sterling, we, at least us in LA, reading about him being a Slim Lord, all that shit, we knew this shit was happening, right? It wasn't
Mhm.
until he was caught on record and they
Yeah.
play the tape where Adam Silver was like, we need to get this guy out.
But also remember, it was what wasn't it? Wasn't it during the playoffs? Or
Yeah.
was it? Yeah,
Or it was getting up there to the playoffs, but yeah.
like
Yeah. So they were moving really swiftly. I'm just thinking to myself, he has, the writer has so many different witnesses, source material to write this. What if he actually has something that's on Sarver on tape? Does this change how we look at it at this point? Because right now it's more of, hey, that's what they said, but I'm gonna vehemently deny it. But if
wouldn't
we
it?
have something
Do
that's on
you,
tape, does that change it?
don't you think it? Do you think it would have already come out by now?
I feel like I would slow play it as a writer. I wouldn't
I
just straight up release it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would depend on what's exactly recorded. If it's on the same level as what Sterling did, then I could see it sort of getting worse. But I would say in today's day and age, I wouldn't be surprised if a ton of things are being recorded and blah blah blah. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say because there's already a precedent sort of set, like you're forced to sell a team or something, which I have interesting feelings about that because you're clearly going to be selling these teams on a profit because I'm sure these dudes owned the teams for a while and the team values went way up. So oh no, you're making $2 billion or whatever. So, and yeah, this is definitely 1%er problems, obviously. So it's like you get to lose your favorite toy, is what I'm sort of seeing it as. These dudes.
Do you know what like bums me out is that this could have happened with the Washington football team and Dan Snyder, and it's not going to.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not. Now you're just the
It
football team.
really, like, as a fan of that organization, it's tough to be a fan of that organization.
It's yeah.
I
I mean, I don't know.
I hated the name. I'm glad that we're changing the name. I fucking hate Dan Snyder because he's the worst owner in the NFL, and that's saying something. It's just so disheartening when you, because I like the players on that team, like, ugh, but
Scary Terry is good, man.
dude, Terry's good. Freaking
Chase Young.
Like, you got like a good core of that team, and it's just like, I don't know, like that after that whole cheerleader scandal, they should have made him sell the team.
Now we talk about the NFL, and Dan Snyder, for better or worse, must be very happy that two different types of news have overshadowed him at this point. One, Henry Ruggs is in jail right now on DUI or the crash. So just a reminder, if you guys are drinking, do not fucking drive at all.
There's no excuse anymore.
There isn't.
There's Lyft.
There's people to pick you up, call friends, whatever.
There's so many resources that you can do, like to have at your disposal. Not drink and drive, because you might never know what's going to happen. And, just listening to that story is very sad. But then there's another story on the flip side to this that's more football related. Is Aaron Rodgers here?
Oh my God.
This dude, okay. If you guys go on Reddit or Twitter and just look at Aaron Rodgers, that shit is hilarious. Look, we can all agree, or hopefully we can agree, that, when we think about best quarterbacks right now, he's in the top 5, right? Maybe top 10 if you're being a little cynical. But if we're thinking about of all time, he is a top 10 quarterback, just stats alone. But I think August, when I was watching this, they were talking about like COVID status, stuff like that. And he said, I'm immunized. We should have known better when he said that, And he's saying, like, if people don't get vaccinated or not, he said, I'm not going to judge them. This guy caught COVID. And for this whole time, the NFL had him on the unvaccinated list. We don't ask this thing. So there's a kind of, from what the NFL has said, this is more of an organizational thing rather than a league thing. So something in that Packers locker room or management is not being up to code. Is it one of those instances where the management was like, hey, Rodgers, you got your shot? He's like, yeah, I'm vaccinated. I'm immunized. Okay, cool. And then they just leave it at that without checking, stuff like that. Right now, the biggest headline on Reddit is like, Aaron Rodgers is furious about leak of his unvaccinated status.
I suck at that. That's the stupidest thing I've heard in my life.
Why would he be mad about this? Like,
I've been hearing rumors that it's because of his little bit crazy girlfriend is a reason he didn't get vaccinated, Shailene Woodley.
Shailene Woodley,
whatever.
Oh man,
I don't. No,
I'm saying your girlfriend could have not a complete influence, but some influence.
I believe it is his wife now.
Oh, okay.
At least his fiance. I don't know.
Okay, whatever the case is, yes. I don't know. It's so weird, and the whole situation's weird. The whole COVID thing's weird because it's so politicized, which is the dumbest thing in the history of the U.S., I think. And it's just causing people to, like, if you went back, someone was asking something. I heard this somewhere. It goes, if you were like in a coma for 5 years, since like 2016, right? And you woke up today, what would be the most like interesting or crazy thing you'd be surprised by, right? Basically, you'd be missing the entire Trump presidency entirely, right? Now you're dealing with this pandemic. And so you're telling people, oh, it's like a pandemic. It's like the flu. We were able to put millions and billions of dollars into developing a vaccine that We developed very quickly to sort of save everyone, which is what I consider a miracle cure at this point because the vaccination rate is great. I'm very surprised that they did it. I'm very happy they were able to pull it off. And now the whole thing is like, I don't want to be vaccinated, and I just don't get it. Because if you went back 5 years and you're like, did you get your flu shot? No one's gonna make this weird argument about whether or not I believe in the flu shot or not. It's the
really?
shot.
Because people give me shit for getting the flu shot.
But is it to the extent of the COVID shot, though? I think it's just
because they're like, whoa, fucking. It's like
I don't know. This whole I'm trying to figure out because anti-vax has to be worse than the flat earthers because at least flat earthers are benign, right?
No, flat Earth is like rooted in anti-Semitism.
Well, but okay, yeah, that's bad. But what I'm trying to say is benign. Like you believing that the world is flat doesn't like kill the person next to you, which is what I'm trying to mean.
I get you.
I mean, there's crazy stuff everywhere, but this is just extra bad because it hurts your neighbor, hurts someone close to you. It's just a bad situation altogether. I don't know what's going on with.
I just don't understand. My biggest thing is I just don't understand how athletes in professional sports do not accept science. Like it doesn't make sense to me, right?
I think
Like,
for a lot of people, it's like I don't want to be told what to do more than anything else.
Well, back in the 90s, that wouldn't make sense because everyone was shooting steroids up their asses. So, if everyone was doing that as well. But I also...
No, John.
I was going to say it's never meant to be logical. It's never a logical thing.
That was the injection site, the in their ass.
In there.
Paula Duca was over you with a syringe in the bathroom stall. Just, all right, guys. So the movie we watched this week is Pig. It is the latest from Nick Cage. I don't know about you guys, but the first time I saw this movie, I expected something a little different than what we got. But I loved it either way. This was, I think, other than Dune, I think it's my number one movie of the year so far. I don't know. What did you guys expect when you first, saw that this was kind of being likened to John Wick? Johnny, you can start this one.
When I saw the trailer, I was like, "Oh, so this is Nicolas Cage's John Wick, but with a pig, huh? He's gonna go nuts on it." And then,
yeah,
like I said, first, this is a little bit different because I still kind of had that feeling up until maybe 15, 20 minutes in. I'm like, "Oh, this is a different type of story." If John Wick was an action movie that camouflages on him remembering something that he truly loved, this is the total inverse. This is him actually like going through, kind of loss and grief and having kind of a parallel to that. Yeah. I was shocked at how much I loved this movie as I kept watching it.
I think, as it was unfolding, I remember we were watching it, I was really struck with how much how it was taking its time and how mature it was. I think this was the director's first movie he's ever directed.
Michael Samosky, yes.
Yeah, I didn't know how to pronounce the last name. And just how confident it was, and how much I'm just loving Nick Cage just working all the time. I think he should be nominated for this role. I mean, basically, this movie is John Wick, but instead of guns, it's food and existential dread. Joe, what did you think about it?
For some reason, I thought you guys were gonna say like Taken-ish, because the pig got taken.
Yeah, no, that absolutely totally fits. Probably more than John Wick. I mean, John Wick is like the latest, I would say, touchstone for that type of movie, but Taken absolutely works.
I watched this movie without knowing anything about it. I was like, you guys are like, check this out. Like, okay, no trailer, no nothing. I did see just a poster with Nicolas Cage in front, and it just says pig. I was like, okay, so it could be anything. It felt like a really cool art piece, so to speak. It had a lot of. It looked beautiful. And then it came out of nowhere with the whole pig being taken, and then I liked everything about it. The only thing I didn't really like was that there was like the underground fucking fight club scene just out of
See,
nowhere.
I really liked that because it kind of spoke to how.
That's not the part I didn't like. I liked it, right?
Oh, okay.
So I'm just gonna go through the motions here. I was like, underground fight scene. I was like, okay, he gets a shit kicked out of him because I guess it's how many punches you can take. Okay, so obviously he's like a dude that can take a bunch of hits, all that kind of stuff. And the main villain is some 60-year-old truffle farmer that you can't. I'm saying if this guy's threatening to kill your pig or whatever, just take a bat to his head. Like
Yeah, but
that's the main villain.
No,
Are you
Joe.
fucking joking me?
No, the pig was already dead.
No, but he didn't know that at the time, right?
Yeah,
He was saying, "Let me give you money for the pig. Don't fuck." He's making threats. Don't fucking come here again. I'm saying if this guy is making, and I know that this is sort of slightly out of context, I guess, but if Nicolas Cage is making this kind of effort to find his pig with such vengeance, such anger, and all this kind of stuff, and what's stopping you is like an older dude.
An older dude.
I don't know how old he is, but I don't think he's a fighter because obviously from the Fight Club scene, he can take hits and all that kind of stuff. I get that. Like he's kind of a grizzled, dude that lives in the woods and things like that. He could beat the ever living shit out of this guy.
but that's not.
I
That
know.
wasn't the point of that scene.
No, but no, that's what I would do. I'm saying if someone did that to me and I was that kind of person, based on the character I've seen developed by Nicolas Cage, beat the shit out of him, get the pig back, problem solved.
Problem solved. Johnny, what was your favorite scene in the movie?
The whole scene where he went to your dicey whatever that restaurant was and talked to his old
Oh yeah, that's the best
chef. To me, that was
scene of the
like
year.
it was so good just because of first off, this man got beaten up with the scene before. And he doesn't wash off the
Nope.
blood on his face. So the
Nope.
blood's already there, right? And I love the introduction of this very hoity-toity restaurant trying to create the image of what the plate is. And you can see like the minute she opens and the smoke comes out and you're supposed to take in this beautiful work of art.
We've all
The
been
dude
to a
just picked it
restaurant
up.
like that.
Yeah. The dude just picked it up with his hand, ate it, is like, let me talk to your chef, right? And I thought that was really cool to do that. And then, you can see that this guy really took his profession very seriously because it was ingrained in him. And he was talking to that old chef that he had. And he was talking about why didn't you open the pub?
The pub. Oh my God.
And that scene was so good because of just
acting
realizing what
performance.
it is.
The performance of the chef
Yeah.
during that scene was spectacular.
Yeah. You can see his like brain not trying to turn on that switch where he's like trying to remember it, but he's all like, no, I like doing this. And, Nicolas Cage is like, look, man, all this is fake. This is fake. Customers fake, critics fake. You haven't done anything because you're fake. Like there's nothing here, nothing here is tangible, real to you. And it spoke a lot to what this movie is and what people kind of go through. And I absolutely love this scene. This scene here is what cemented this movie as one of the best movies I've seen, because at this point it kind of turned into something where I'm like, okay, I see where the trajectory of this movie is going, and I absolutely loved it.
I mean, Joe, what about you? What was one of your give me one of your favorite scenes, or if it could have been that one too.
I mean, honestly, it's a Fight Club scene for me. Regarding back to the restaurant scene, I liked it. The chef's gradual change in demeanor over time was very interesting. And, you obviously you revealing of the story that he worked for him for 2 months. He fired him because he was burning the pasta or fucking up the pasta all the time. And then he's like, "Hey, what do you want to do? I want to open a whatever." But I would say that while it's fine to have that kind of dream there, and it's great, I don't think there's anything wrong with having your dreams change. I know that this, again, not necessarily be relevant to this part of the movie, but I'm saying, what if this guy's dream changed? Or his aspirations changed.
But it didn't. He started chasing the money.
I know. Well, I'm saying, like, I don't want this to be like labeled for everything. And in this guy's obviously based on the way his demeanor changed and the fact that he still remembered his favorite meal that he wanted to cook in the thing. Yes, obviously. Um, I didn't necessarily like the idea of everything being fake. Like, I might be fake to that chef because he's doing something that I guess just makes the money, right? Because I'm guessing he's doing this to pay the bills, not necessarily to because
No,
he
it
didn't really
wasn't to pay
follow
the
his
bills.
dreams.
Like he had a really popular restaurant. He was doing it because that's what food in that city had become.
You
It
know,
was, and it was never about that. Food, like, and it speaks to the ending of the film when that dude gets ratatouilled. You know,
yeah, I
Yeah, he
thought
got ratatouille. He did.
I thought it was also kind of interesting that obviously the whole idea behind this restaurant is like a nice, super posh restaurant. Obviously with the whole smoke thing, and then the fucking how they have the wide shot of the whole restaurant. The fucking
Mhm.
front door is like a diner door. It's like what the hell's that, right? So I mean, like, because I
I
figured if you're this is like a restaurant, obviously they make it sound like it's impossible to get reservations and stuff. So I thought it was like these Michelin star restaurants where everything's ambiance nice, but yeah, it's like a fucking Denny's door into a nice restaurant. That's kind of a weird thing. But anyways, that wasn't even my favorite thing. But the whole Fight Club thing was just like fucking out of nowhere, and I liked it because he started
yeah.
digging through a basement of a wall
Hmm.
to get through. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I thought he had some sort of treasure or something hidden behind that. I just watched it without really understanding what's going on because the guy just puts down money and he just starts beating the ever living shit out of him. And I thought it'd be like a fight, but no, it's like, I guess, ding, 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 hit him for 15 seconds and whatever. And then he gets the name of the guy. It was just kind of chaotic to say the least. But
Yeah.
it was sort of like such a big difference from everything, all the other rest parts of the movie that I liked it very much.
Totally. It gosh, such a good meditation on grief and how you process these emotions and how you get over them and loss. I think, my favorite scene is the one in the restaurant. The smoke is perfect, like all those gimmicks and stuff like that. But my favorite other scene was when he goes to the bakery.
Oh yes.
Asks for the
Um,
bread and things like that and talks
he
to,
asks for the
yeah.
bread, and she calls him chef and like kind of gives him a hug, I believe.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit,
Yeah,
and she
she gave him a hug, and it
she
was a
called,
very stand
yeah,
back shot. So there was never cutting back and forth
yeah,
to like the faces. It was just literally being like a fly on the wall, and you're just
and
watching it this whole
and she
time.
called him chef, and I got really emotional while when she called him that, because you could tell she had such reverence for him and like she was very close with him, and you know, I just that scene just really got me. And then like I don't know, like man, like I will eat. Like I said, the guy got ratatouille, but he did.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like there are meals now that I'll eat, and it'll remind me of like the flavors, or everything will remind me of a place and a time and that kind of stuff. Like
It was really cool to seeing the
yeah,
food come out. It was just
uh
like,
huh.
whoa, like did all that, and he worked with the guy to make all that.
It's just
Cool.
it's spectacular. I think it's my favorite Nick Cage movie in the last shit 5 6 years. I don't know.
It's been a while with Nick Cage for
I
sure.
mean, he makes great stuff. Like Color Out of Space was really good.
He also
That
makes a lot of bad stuff though.
so I read why he keeps working, and it's because he's an addict, or he's a recovering or you know
I thought it was a financial issue. He has to still try
it's
to.
it's both. So he
Okay.
owed a lot of money for taxes, and he liked to keep busy because of his addictions.
Okay,
Um,
like substance abuse.
yeah, like alcohol and that kind of
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah. All right.
It just keeps him busy, keeps him kind of on a schedule. Idle hands and all that stuff are the
And
uh,
I also read he like just blows through money buying random shit, like just
yeah. I,
absolute insane.
I am here for as much of these movies as he wants to make. Like, give me this Cage, and I will be here for it at all times.
Yeah, I mean, like like you were saying, what was that? Color,
Color Out of
was
Space.
Color Out of Space. That was good. I mean, he had a very small bit part in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, this and then Mandy came out a couple years ago
Oh
as
god, yeah,
well.
Mandy.
Yeah,
And
Joe is probably the best one I've seen since this movie, and that was
uh,
like in 2013. And
there was that Five Nights at Freddy's kind of movie where
Oh
he,
yeah, I
yeah,
remember that.
yeah, I can't say
Maybe
enough
maybe
about
we're
him.
hitting like the Nick Cage renaissance. He starts
I mean,
doing.
I feel I don't even know if you can call it a renaissance because it's just been rolling this whole time. Like he's been so good.
I hope he keeps it up, Nick Cage. When because since you're obviously listening, I'm rooting for you all the way, 100%.
Hell yeah.
sometimes when you're in basketball, if you're a chucker, you'll have a lot of off
Streaks,
nights. You're
yeah.
gonna have streaks, right? And I think he's hitting that streak, right? Because he, like I said, Call Out of Space, Mandy, Pig. Actually, those are the ones right now. And then, like I said, Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse. He was the noir Spider-Man, if you
Yeah.
guys can recognize his voice in that one. So, but yeah, I mean, this is. I'm very glad. Like when we think of Nick Cage as an actor, do you consider him in your filmography or the stuff you watch upper echelon, or
Oh
is
yeah,
just more of a fan favorite?
I
Or
would I would say upper echelon, given the length of his career, given all the great stuff he's made, given the household name he is. I'm not to say that everything he makes is perfect or he's done everything great, all that kind of stuff. Um, I consider him somewhat of a method actor. Big fan. Nick Cage is. If you say there's a Nick Cage in the movie, it's probably one of the reasons I'd watch it. So he has a lot of pull with me, anyways.
His '90s, early 2000s stuff was hilarious. I love it. You can rewatch it now. Con Air, Face Off, The Rock, like Murderers Row. I think that's because he made those. I think that makes his recent stuff so good. But yeah, I would put him in my upper quartile. Upper echelon, I guess.
someone asks you, recommend me a Nicolas Cage movie today,
Face
what
Off,
movie would you recommend
Face
them?
Off, in a heartbeat.
Believe it or not, I'm going to be picking a ridiculous movie. It's Family
Wait, wait,
Man.
wait, wait. Oh god, I was gonna say let me type it out first. I was gonna say Family Man.
Yeah, it is.
That was the movie. That was the movie.
The thing is, I know it's not the best Nicolas Cage movie for whatever reason. Because I remember I watched it during the holiday or something. It just stuck with me.
Oh, it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, so do that. I mean, I think Face Off might be one of his best movies. I'd say.
But that's
But
that's pure. That is pure Nick Cage to the fucking vein.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the fact they got to play as somebody else. It's great. It's
He's
fantastic.
playing John Travolta
As himself.
as
Exactly. That's what it is. So I mean,
John Woo was very smart to make that movie.
it's great.
But I agree with you. It would be,
Or I would say, I was a big fan of Lord of War and maybe National Treasure, but that's National Treasure sort of going off the rails. It could be very much niche for some people.
to me, if it wasn't Face Off that Jared said, then it would be The Rock. I think
Yeah, The Rock.
is
Oh,
really
okay,
good.
yeah.
Both those movies. Like I said, The Rock, Con Air, Face Off. That is a trilogy of movies within the span of a year and a half that came out.
That's
that he
his
just
super streak. His super streak.
Before we wrap it up, give me your favorite meal, your go-to favorite meal.
I want. It's gonna be stupid. It's gonna be steak and rice, and I say
Oh,
rice is the part that's
rice?
ridiculous because I'm Asian.
No, dude.
Steak.
My favorite meal, my
Yeah.
brother and I are if death row meal.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking tri-tip and white rice.
Dude, white rice is so good.
Hands down.
I think most people would say steak and like mashed potatoes, but as an
Yeah,
Asian,
fuck that.
it's
They
the
don't even
rice.
know.
Yeah, there
They
you
don't
go.
even know. I mean, I was gonna say my grandma's curry, but shit, who am I joking? Fucking tri-tip and rice, like teriyaki tri-tip or whatever. So good. Johnny, give me your favorite meal. No object. Time and space are no object.
it's actually crazy. I think if it's more sentimental than it is,
Yeah,
my
what's gonna
mom's like,
ratatouille you? What's gonna give you that ratatouille moment?
it'd be Vietnamese beef stew. It
Yeah.
has to be my
Okay.
mother's.
Yeah, right on.
Right.
Gotcha.
With
Yeah.
the baguette on the side so you can dip into the stew.
Gotta
and
dunk
eat
it,
that as well.
baby.
Gotta dunk it. So that to me would be mine. I mean, steak and rice does sound delicious, right?
But like,
it is. But
that's such for my brother and I. That's such a nostalgic kind of mixing of our culture growing up. Like we had the mom's white, my dad's Japanese, and like those flavors are so like our family. Like my dad would grill the tri-tip and make the rye, and my mom would make the rye. Like so good. Like those flavors are just unbelievable to me.
Right.
Seared into my brain.
That being said, I fucking love curry.
Oh God, right?
It's
If
so
I
good.
was going to get ratatouille, it would probably be my grandma's curry.
Yeah, curry and with
Yeah.
some rice. Oh
Yeah,
man,
dude.
holy smokes!
And then you put potatoes in the curry.
Yeah, exactly. Like sliced.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, buddy. Man. All right, guys. We're gonna wrap it up here. Johnny, where can they find you?
you guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, JNO11. That's JNGO11. Probably talk about basketball, sports, and then retweeting all the cool stuff that our show does.
Yeah, because I don't do social media that much. It is film. Find us on film at Film Lovers GTTG on Twitter, on Instagram. Like always, I say every week, please send us questions, comments, concerns. Let us know if when you watch Pig, what you thought of it, if you thought it was a good movie, a bad movie, or what parts of it you liked. You can also email us questions at filmloverspod@gmail.com. Same deal. We love to hear your comments, questions, suggestions on movies you can watch. But yeah, just send us whatever you'd like.
You can find me on Twitter at JLUTHYJLuffy. Talk about pro wrestling. I talk about all kinds of stuff. Lately, I've been talking about my job and how tired I am at the end of the week. But yeah, for Johnny and Joe, have a nice week. Galaxy Brains. Keep on watching movies.